Trump fixated on Biden and Rush national address. I want to see this. I haven't seen this. I think this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be great. Let's enjoy American entertainment program, also known as their political system.
We are standing by for brand new numbers on inflation, which has not dropped since President Trump took office. This follows new data which found the unemployment rate is at its highest level in 4 years. Those are two reasons why the White House might have put President Trump on TV last night for an 18-minute speech to tout an economy that many Americans have questions about.
Our country is back, stronger than...
Wait, no, fuck this. I want to listen to the address itself. I don't want it cut up by these liberals. They hate my fucking president. I want the whole address, okay? Trump addressing the nation. Okay, very good. Whole thing. Can I just get the whole thing? Oh my God, I'm gonna come. Oh Lord, this is going to be fantastic. Morning, Yugo. Morning, my friend. Watching Venezuela and Cuba stand alone against U.S. imperialism, it is clear to me now that Sotsdems are the left wing of fascism. It is an ideology of convenience for the imperial core that is exported to make client states too weak to fight back. Lenin right again. Yes, to a very large extent, that happens to be true almost always. And not only in the imperial core, but also sometimes in the periphery, which also should be adequately, but in a camaraderie manner, criticized for sometimes not properly preparing against empire's intervention. Okay, we have many examples throughout history when the preparation was done properly and executed even better. Cases like the period after the success of the Bolshevik Revolution, the Vietnamese resistance to both French and American occupation, stuff like this. Okay, so that is what we want to see. What I'm trying to say is America Bad is like 99.9% of the time a correct analysis. But if you understand that, then you as a state that has positioned itself against this imperial onslaught, it is on you to properly prepare to potentially defend your sovereignty, right? And criticism should be directed also domestic governments who fail to do so, because that is not proper governance.
Wonderful, a new child soldier.
Am I talking about Venezuela? In this case, no, I am not. I do not know if the war begins, depending on how Venezuela fares in protecting itself from a fucking coup that will do nothing for the Venezuelan people, but immeasurable harm no matter what you think about Maduro. Depending on how they fare, I will say GG based or what the fuck. You've known that this is coming for so long. Like, I know you're under sanctions. I know it's tough, but you know this is coming. We're fucking insane. Thank you, Darkwing Cuck, for those 5. Like, crazy good name, dude. Crazy good name, dude. Like, really crazy good name. Almost 100 gifted subs throughout the years. Darkwing Cuck. It's so pretty. Anyways, let's listen to the literally the funnest man on planet Earth. Okay. What if Adolf Hitler was not a fanboy? No, twink. What was the word? Your unk is glitching. Twink, yes. Yes, here in this chat... Crazy hamburger! In this chat, we call Hitler a twink, because Hitler was a twink. And holy shit, Turbo Chimen, like, holy mother of God. Look at that crazy number go up. That crazy number go up. We mentioned Vietnam, and Turbo Chimen is immediately like, I must contribute to Gamba. Thank you, Turbo. You're quite turbo, my friend. Closer and closer to that pretty number. Anyways, let's listen to Bear Hitler. Can I call him a bear? Is he a bear? Yo, gays in chat. Yo, gay me up in this bitch, dude. Help me with your gay ass slang. Is he a bear or he's a daddy or dad bod? What? Butch Hitler. A butch Ah, Butch. Okay, bear is hairier, right? Bear is hairier. Chub Hitler. So I'm a bear, I guess. Bears have muscles. Yeah, he has muscles. You don't know. Like, he has like insanely sized, like chiseled abs underneath all the lard. Zesty Hitler. No, he's lemon party coded. Wait, I'm going to Google that on the side. Lemon party coded meaning. Term in lemon party is a coded reference to a notorious early 2000s shock website. Feature a graphic, not safe for work image of three elderly men and engaged in sexual activity. So lemon party coded is just old dude that likes when there's a lot of people involved in the sexy times. I am an author. I am a proud author. Yes. I am author man. Ot. I have small teeth though. I wish I could show you. I have pretty small toothies. I'm too big for an otter, but I am mentally an otter, you know. I identify as an otter. I'm a double Leo bear that identifies as an otter.
Good evening, America.
Good evening, President.
Months ago, I inherited a mess, and I'm fixing it. When I took office, inflation was the worst in 48 years, and some would say in the history of our country, which caused prices to be higher than ever before, making life unaffordable for millions and millions of Americans. This happened during a Democrat administration, and it's when we first began hearing the word affordability. Our border was open, and because of this, our country was being invaded by an army of 25 million people, many who came from prisons.
Millions of people, rapists, murderers, and God help me, Albanians. They were coming in. The Albanians were destroying the local cocaine market. They were replacing it with their own. I said no more. We must protect our dealers, true patriots of our nation. For how will the alienated masses work if they cannot be supplied with a line of good cocaine, or if you are black, crack? How, I ask you?
Jails, mental institutions, and insane asylums. They were drug dealers, gang members, and even 11,888 murderers.
It's kind of funny that he's doing this thing, right? Which obviously is not happening unless there's like a secret plot, which will be very surprising. But it to an extent actually happened in history. Like there was a country that unironically opened its mental institutions and sent over its drug dealers, slave owners, murderers, and so on. Most of them are called gusanos nowadays. Okay, that Cuba had its revolution, and there was a bunch of reactionaries, a bunch of criminals, a bunch of violent repeat offenders, a bunch of pretty respectfully insane people. And what the Cuban government did was not gulag or like incarcerate. They literally said, okay, just go to America. Just go to America. Just go to America. So it happened. So I guess that they're inspired by something that happened before, but they didn't know. But they didn't know about back then and did not properly react to back then. Literally Marco Rubio, literally most of them. Biggest mistake he ever made? No, he achieved moral superiority. Sometimes that is decent. True principled communists will say, no, fuck moral superiority. Put all those motherfucking people in places where we can help them become wiser. But no, he was like, just go over there. And it ended up being a funny thing. Now we have the worst place on earth. It's called Miami. We have Miami. Lots of hot people though there. Like it's pretty absurd. But like you're passing by and you don't know if we have a child, if it's going to look like you or it's going to look like I don't know, a calf. Because motherfucker, I don't know like what your actual genetic coding is, bro. I don't know how many surgeries you had. Like, I don't want my kid coming out looking not like me or you, motherfucker. Like, what? I don't want to do that shit. There you go. I said it. Yugopnik said it. It is sexual violence to not tell your partner you've had extensive plastic surgery when you are having children. I'm serious. It is sexual violence to not tell your partner that you've had extensive plastic surgery before you choose to have a child. Because he or she needs to know that, they're creating a genetic combination between two people that look a particular way. Because plastic surgery does not change the genome of the child. It's kind of God's funny way, or the universe's or nature's funny way of lockstepping plastic surgery. It's like plastic surgery has become too OP, so God is nerfing it by making the kids of plastic surgerized people look like shit. Which again, this is reactionary. I'm doing reactionary shit. Nobody looks like shit, but there is a sort of cathartic moment of like making fun of rich people that have had like a lot of shit done on them. It's cathartic to tell them like, I know you're very ugly underneath. I know it's like it's weaponized. It's weaponized aesthetic patriarchal norms against the bourgeois. No matter how much filler you put in those lips, Becky, you ain't a black woman. Do you see? Like, again, extremely controversial what I just said, but it's weaponized against the rich, so it's kind of hilarious. Oh, it's hilarious watching their Mar-a-Lago face fall apart. Does anybody have that link to the Vanity Fair shoot of the Republicans? Please, somebody find. There was a Vanity Fair shoot or something else where they all got together and they thought they're going to make them look very pretty, but the photograph was like, nah, I'm going to show what you fucking demons actually look like when you're not under perfect lighting and with like a kilo of makeup. It's one of the most humanizing, but in a bad way, photo shoots I've seen of a politician ever. It's actually quite impressive. Somebody help me with a link. It's like that was like, whoa. That I was like, that's fucking praxis, bro. It should be okay to wield the systems of oppression the bourgeois created and use them against the bourgeoisie. We call that the shitbag left. We are the shitbag left. But that does not include using slurs and doing like actual bigotry. Here's one. Oh, this one is insane. Yeah, look at this. Are you ready, chat? Are you eating? If you're eating, look away. Holy Mother of God. The Mar-a-Lago face, baby. The Mar-a-Lago lips. Don't get it twisted. These close-up Vanity Fair photos aren't mean. They're art. Hate corrodes the container it's carried in. Exposing evil and invoking a response is art. It is art. It's quite good. It's really good art. It's really, really good art. This one is incredible. But it's kind of funny. Like the most fucked up thing is that like Goebbels over here is ironically the best looking out of all of them. Like he's actually the best looking out of all of them, which is crazy because he's the worst looking when they're actually on camera. All I see is just like people that like, if they were transported to high school right now, would be bullied. That's all I see. It's kind of sad. This man has a slight Slavic genome. He has a slight Slavic genome. It's the brow and the nose type. I'm Yakubian this shit hardcore. This is a Britoid. This is full like island Yakubian. This is obviously a we know what this is. This was easy. Scandinavian. Yeah, very Scandinavian. Maybe a bit of British, but like this aesthetic that the British have, the island Yakubians have, it was given to them by the Scandinavian Yakubians. This is just this is a four in Norway, as they like to say. The makeup is British. The makeup is very British. Greek? Have you met a Greek woman in your life? My friend, I really like you. Example 2 unclear. Have you met a Greek woman? Not a single Greek woman on planet Earth looks like this. No Greek woman that has ever lived looks like this. Have you met a Greek person? Appalachia is part of the global Slav belt. Absolutely, brother. That was a good joke. What fucking flavor of Yakubian is this? This is a fucking... Oh my god, somebody should make one. You know those TikToks of what the fucking, like, is this? And then replies, what the fuck kind of a Yakubian is this? This is an island fucking... This is a fucking island Yakubian. American Greek diasporoids look like that, dude. That has been, I guess, bred the fuck out of them. I don't know what to tell you. Greek women are beautiful, but they look like what most people consider like stereotypically Jewish-looking women. Like if you imagine like the stereotype of a good-looking Jewish woman, well, that's what Greek women look like. I go every summer to Greece. Literally, my whole life I've gone to Greece every summer. It's a drive away. I'm not a multimillionaire. It's just a drive away. I love how I had to explain that. Greek men are really good looking. I don't know if they're good looking or just have like incredibly sexy accents. I don't know. If I was a woman or a person that likes La Pipi, I would like Greek Pipi. They're kind of cool. I could never live in Greece though. Those streets are meant for ancient times. I cannot drive in your country, sir. You mean you drive there in your Bugatti? You're close. It's not a Bugatti, but it's pretty close. I have a very expensive car. The Israelis stole our look. Absolutely. Oh, so are you Greek? Ah, that's why you meant that. Bulgariati. And I only use Bulgari, the perfume. Alright, okay, let's come back to our boy.
More than 50% of whom killed more than one person. This is what the Biden administration allowed.
More than 50% of the 25 million people that came in killed at least one person. There was a Holocaust in the States that we've missed, Chad. Oh no, they did the Holocausti. They did the Holocausti. Bugatti is Croatian now? Okay, I need to buy a Bugatti then. I never liked Bugattis. I don't understand the appeal of Bugatti. It looks like a toy.
To happen to our country, and it can never be allowed to happen again. We had men playing in women's sports, transgender for everybody, crime
Transgender, everybody.
at record levels with law enforcement, and words such as that just absolutely forbidden. We had the worst trade
Oh God, he's not doing well.
deals ever made, and our country was laughed at from all over the world. But they're not laughing anymore. We're
kind of dying of laughter. You're pushing away most of your allies. Every strategic move you made is one out of desperation. You did not manage to push either side towards the conclusion of the war in Ukraine. The Chinese do not take you seriously. You pulled back on all the fucking tariffs. And you're about to potentially start a war that nobody needs. except of course American Empire. I think Cuphead sent me a video that was pretty decent. If they actually take Venezuelan oil, then they can potentially down the line even invade or try to completely destabilize Iran without completely destroying the international oil market, because it will have enough, to an extent, oil to offset the potential imbalance in the market, which would be caused by a war in Iran. So it's a pretty decent argument. It's realpolitik as fuck, but it's pretty decent. We don't know if that's true. We don't have the numbers, but it's good. It's a good argument. It's a good argument.
Past 11 months, we have brought more positive change to Washington than any administration in American history. There's never been anything like it, and I think most would agree. I was elected in a landslide, winning the popular vote and all 7 swing states and everything else, with a mandate to take on a sick and corrupt system that really just took the wealth from people and crushed the dreams of the American people. For the last 4 years, the United States was ruled by politicians who fought only for insiders, illegal aliens, career criminals, corporate lobbyists, prisoners, terrorists, and above all, foreign nations, which took advantage of us at
domestic banks in Israel. What the fuck?
Levels never seen before.
Yes, incredibly independent America First policies that we've seen from my boy. What's up, Pile? You good?
Flooded.
Well, let me check if my woman died. Just one moment. Are you dead? She just left. Look at do you guys have these types of cookies? This is what I think of you, chat. You're very small and sweet. They're medena srca, and they're filled they're very good with milk especially. They smell slightly cinnamony, but they're soft. Medena srca, we call them. Pierniki, you guys have them as well. I think everybody should have them. Those are really good. You guys call them Piernitsky? Piernitsky. I fucking love Polish people, dude. You have the greatest language of all time. Medeno srce. Piernitsky. The difference between two Slavic languages. Medeno srce versus Piernitsky. Gingerbread. I guess it's kind of gingerbready. Yeah. It's kind of gingerbready, but like a softer. It's strange. I quite enjoy them.
Your cities and towns with illegal aliens. They decimated your hard-earned savings. They indoctrinated your children with hate for America. They just released a level of violent felons that we had never seen to prey on innocent. They caused war. They caused mayhem. They caused a horrible situation all over the globe. But now you have a president who fights for the law-abiding, hardworking people of our country, the ones who make this nation run, who make this nation work. And after just 1 year, we have achieved more than anyone could have imagined. Starting on day one, I took
literally nothing. Absurd failure. 11 months worth of an absurd failure. Like, objectively, I'm not being a Democrat mouthpiece here. Like J.D. Pondon. If we are defining America further declining as a victory, which I guess we are, he is a great success. My president, thank you, we salute you in the flag.
Immediate action to stop the invasion of our southern...
Doesn't even mention Antifa. That's because they now know that we are, what's the word? The CEO of Antifa. We are the CEO of Antifa. Okay. They don't want to fuck with the CEO of Antifa. It's this guy. We know it's this guy. But whoever wears the shirt for that day, he is the CEO. If you wear it, you're the CEO for that day. By the way, the people that receive their merch, like especially the T-shirts, is it high quality? Because we really wanted like very high quality shirts. These we've had before, and I know they're fine. But these we were trying something new. Tell me if they ended up being high quality. It better have ended up being high quality because mine still haven't arrived because I live in Timbuktu.
Southern border. For the past 7 months, 0 illegal aliens have been allowed into our country, a feat which everyone said was absolutely impossible.
Is it gingerbread? Okay, Jesus, everybody's still talking about it. Okay, medeno srce, brate. So these are medeno srce. And so it's a honeyed heart squares. Okay. But these are made by people. No, I want the mass industrialized ones. This, okay, Pioneer Honey Heart. This one is with honey. Okay. Let me do my research. Story of Honey Heart dates back to 78 when the visit of Pioneer. It's literally from the company that still exists called Pioneer, like the communist pioneers. Like literally. From 78, the heart was sweet and adorable. So soon it was a worker co-op. Became the favorite among many who tasted along with the original Honey Heart. In 2002, sour cherry flavor was added. Specific taste of these cakes comes from honey and a unique combination of cinnamon, ginger, and clove. There you go. Yeah, so it has ginger, cinnamon, and clove. It's very specific. It's very good. It's very specific. It's a weird type of soft. To piernik jest. Yes, it's a piernik as well. Yeah. Yes, we have them everywhere. And I'm happy we have them everywhere. Because they're really slept on. They're very good. They're really slept on. I love how I think it costs less in the UK than it actually costs in post-Yugoslav states and even other Balkan states. United Europe, more like Greater Poland. We can only dream, brother. Polska Polaku or some shit. Poland would be a great people if it did not have... Poland would be a great country if it did not have all those Polish people living there. I'm kidding. I like Polish people quite a lot. We have them in Denmark as well, and with like pictures on them. Oh, you gotta make it fancy. You're 3D printing yours.
Possible. Do you remember when Joe Biden said that he needed Congress to pass legislation to help close the border? He was always blaming Congress and everyone else. As it turned out, we didn't need legislation. We just needed a new president. We inherited the worst border anywhere in the world, and we quickly turned it into the strongest border in the history of our country. In other words, in a few short months, we went from worst to best. We're deporting criminals, restoring safety to our most dangerous cities.
He is incredible.
Just take a look at Washington, D.C. It's at levels of safety that we've never seen before. And they decimated the...
What happened to Source, bro?
Bloodthirsty foreign drug cartels. We did that all by ourselves with our people, and we're so proud of it because they were poisoning and destroying our population. Drugs brought in by ocean and by sea are now down 94%. We have broken the grip of sinister woke radicals in our schools.
Press X to doubt.
And control over those schools is back now in the hands of our great and loving states where
education is back in the hands of true patriots.
Education belongs. After rebuilding the United States military in my first term, and with the addition we are...
You will be executed if you mention that black people and Native Americans exist, okay? That's anti-woke American education. The Yakubians are in control, Chad. Everything is going according to plan.
Right now, we have the most powerful military anywhere in the world, and it's not even close. I've restored American strength, settled 8 wars in 10 months, destroyed the Iran nuclear threat, and ended the war in Gaza, bringing for the first time in 3,000 years peace to the Middle East.
3,000 years. Holy shit, Pharaoh. Holy mother of God. The pharaohs are looking from, I don't know, Egyptian heaven right now. And like, dude, what the fuck?
Crazy hamburger! Crazy hamburger!
My guy is indirectly saying that since the birth of civilization, there has been war in the Middle East. This is such a Middle East burn. I love it. 3,000 years. Like if you said 300 or something, or like last 100 years, the 3,000 is such a nice cherry on top. Polky, thank you for your Western taxes. Polky always comes in and does Polky's part. Thank you very kindly. Thank you very, very, very kindly. We're moving to 3. And we're getting closer to Gumbo, which would be hilarious to do on this fine day because you can punish me. Be like Polky, support the show. What is this clip? 3,000 years. 3,000 years, such a crazy thing to say. I love it.
Anywhere in the world, and we quickly turned it into the strongest border in the history of our country. In other words, in a few short months, we went from worst to best.
Worst to best.
And secured the release of the hostages, both living and dead. Here at home, we're bringing our economy back from the brink of ruin. The last administration and their allies in Congress looted our treasury for trillions of dollars, driving up prices and everything at levels never seen before. I am bringing those high prices down and bringing them down very fast.
My guy, like 3 days ago, you said that affordability is a liberal hoax, my guy. The fuck? Let's stand for a little bit. We haven't done a standing stream in a second.
Let's look at the facts. Under the Biden administration, car prices rose 22% and in many states 30% or more. Gasoline rose 30 to 50%. Hotel rates rose 37%. Airfares rose 31%. Now, under our leadership, they are all coming down and coming down fast. Democrat politicians also sent the cost of groceries soaring, but we are solving that too. The price of a Thanksgiving turkey was down 33% compared to the Biden last year. The price of eggs is down 82% since March, and everything else is falling rapidly. And it's not done yet, but boy, are we making progress. Nobody can believe what's going on.
Yeah, because it's not true, my guy. Eggs are no longer $7 million. They are now $3.5 million. We are making the country more affordable by making everything 20% cheaper than last year. But, sir, last year, a loaf of bread cost as much as a diamond. Yeah, but now it costs like half a diamond. Like, what do you want from me, dude?
Just some of the efforts that we have underway, you will see in your wallets and bank accounts in the new year. After years of record-setting falling incomes, our policies are boosting take-home pay at a historic pace. Under Biden, real wages plummeted by $3,000. Under Trump, the typical factory worker has seen a wage increase of $1,300. For construction workers, it's $1,800. For miners, we're bringing back clean, beautiful coal. It's $3,300. And for the first time in years, wages are rising much faster than inflation. Remember that. The wages, just look at it. Wages are going up much faster than inflation. How big is that? Very importantly, there are more people working today than at any time in American.
I want somebody fact-checking this shit. Because this guy ain't doing that.
We are standing by for brand new numbers on inflation, which has not dropped since President Trump took office. This follows new data which found the unemployment rate is at its highest level in 4 years. Those are two reasons why the White House might have put President Trump on TV last night for an 18-minute speech to tout an economy that many Americans have questions about.
Our country is back, stronger than ever before. We're poised for an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen. Soon we will host the World Cup and the Olympics, both of which I got. When the world looks at us next year, let them see a nation that is loyal to its citizens, faithful to its workers, confident to its identity, certain to its destiny, and the envy of the entire globe. We are respected again like we have never been respected.
No, like the main reaction to the news that we might need to give all our social media information to the American state when traveling there was pretty much received by hundreds of millions of people all over the world saying, wait, somebody wants to travel to the States? Except for people that are economically coerced into going to the States because of business or proletarian migration or, brain drain, etc., etc. Who the fuck actually wants to go to the States? What? You're not a serious place, okay? You are not serious people. You know that scene from Succession? Well, that applies here, but it's a whole state, unfortunately. That was perhaps the most pointless primetime presidential address ever delivered in American history. What the fuck is going on? Why are they losing their minds? What did you want him to cover? He came on to say, I'm doing a really good job. If he were really doing a good job, he wouldn't need to tell anyone. We'd know. But no, he understands that MAGA people, their reality is formed by whatever this gentleman repeats and repeats and repeats. That's the best I've ever seen him read a teleprompter. He's more fun when he freestyles. Yeah, it's obvious that he's very tired and that this was done last second and don't really care about this. They know that in the modern context, like a Twitter post by the president is far more relevant than the national address. I would even bet you on that. I would bet you on that. If we compare how many people look at an average Trump Twitter post versus the televised national address, I would bet the Twitter post gets more coverage.
Before.
It was a starkly different performance.
9 p.m. EST, it's past his bedtime.
Than his normal stump speeches. The Washington Post quoted a supporter saying, Trump is speaking so fast he seems panicked. I've never seen him like this, and I've attended 42 of his rallies. These are the numbers he's up against. A new Quinnipiac University poll finds 57% say President Trump is more responsible for the current economy than former President Biden.
Sounds like this.
When it comes to great stakes, I've just raised the stakes. The Sharper Image is one of my favorite stores with fantastic products of all kinds. That's why I'm thrilled they agree with me. Trump steaks are the world's greatest steaks, and I mean that in every sense of the word. And the Sharper Image is the only store where you can buy them. Trump steaks are by far the best tasting, most flavorful beef you've ever had. Truly in a league of their own. Trump's...
dude, the guy just found one thing, and he's been doing the one thing for 50 years now. This is identical to the speech. Do you understand? It is identical. It is identical.
Steaks are 5-star gourmet, quality that belong in a very, very select category of restaurant, and are certified Angus beef prime. There's nothing better than that. Of all of the beef produced in America, less than 1% qualifies for that category. It's the best of the best. Until now, you could only enjoy steaks of this quality in...
Wait. Come on, let's do a funny thing, Chad. Editing clips in live in 4K.
And some would say in the history of our country, seen before.
So what we do is we turn off the captions. We mute this video. We play this one at the beginning and go.
I've just raised the stakes. The Sharper Image is one of my favorite stores with fantastic products of all kinds. That's why I'm thrilled they agree with me. Trump steaks are the world's greatest steaks, and I mean that in every sense of the word. and the sharper image is the only store where you can buy them. Trump steaks are by far the best tasting, most flavorful beef you've ever had. Truly in a league of their own. Trump steaks are 5-star gourmet, quality that belong in a very, very select category of restaurant, and are certified Angus beef prime. There's nothing better than that. Of all of the beef produced in America, less than 1% qualifies for that category.
The funny part is that, like, somebody saying TikTok this, it would be funny. It sounds like it's AI generated. It sounds like it's AI generated because he talks like AI. He talks like an aggregate system. Like he's just like a broken digital record, if one can say. Nobody remembers this, but I knew people in 2010 who were in the Trump pyramid scheme and flew from Canada to South Carolina to see him speak and sell his video phone, which, existing in a world where Skype was already a thing, the product was hilarious. Mr. Mandela Effect, have I ever mentioned that I love you? Where did you find this? Oh my God, where did you find this? This is incredible.
The Trump name and success have really become one and the same. I've worked hard at that for a long time. The two things I've mastered over the years is understanding the importance of timing in business and the ability to recognize great opportunities and also great people. So I'm here to tell you about a company that provides these two essential components for success. I'd like to tell you something about ACN, which is really on the cusp of technological advancements that will change the way we communicate with.
Nothing has changed, okay? He has like a team that he needs to be the face of that is trying to sell a particular thing, in this case, video phones, whatever that might be. Or in our more modern case, like reactionary politics as a way to skim whatever's left off the top of the rotting American imperial corpse. But that's it. Like he is simply the face of whatever potential high-yield product needs to be pitched to the masses. Be it the reactionary Republican politics, be it steaks, be it vodka, be it Trump University, or be it video phone. Okay? The jesters are the presidents. But we must ask, have they always not been the same? Has it always not been the same? Jesus, very London language speak today.
Exciting technologies like digital phone service and video phones. That's probably even better than real estate. I like real estate, but I think this is probably better. It's certainly more advanced. ACN also provides an environment where people from...
It was like, I'm about to take down Apple single-handedly, even though this was before Apple. Yeah, this was before iPhones.
all walks of life have a chance to succeed. Already, ACN is a $500 million company, and it's growing really fast. Their revenues have quadrupled over the last 5 years, making ACN one of the fastest growing companies in the world.
I remember asking my friend why I wanted a video phone landline that could only call other people with the phone when I had an iPhone, and she was like, it's not a phone, it's a lifestyle. Oh my God, they're insane. They're insane. MLM people, I don't feel bad for them. I low-key don't feel bad for them. I know a lot of people that were victims, but I can't make myself. But wait, you're trying to tell me that the video phone was out when the iPhone was out. Why would I buy it? What? The iPhone had a touch screen. Why would I buy a landline video phone? Landline video phone? I have a computer. I can use Skype back then. But sorry, bro. Sorry. I didn't know your game. Didn't know it was a lifestyle. Thank you, Vapor Rubbed, for the 12 months. And be a part of it, chat. Be a part of it. Join the Definitely Not MLM Yugopnik experience. $6 a month, free through Prime, or by paying your taxes, oiling me up, and gifting to fellow chatters that need it most. Remember, all the starving chatters need a subscription. Trust the guy who profits off of you subscribing on this, you know? I have it out for you. I don't have it out for you. I'm looking out for you. Wait until you see the product you will immediately want to buy. It's much superior to this iPhone.
ACN has a reputation for success. Success that's synonymous with the Trump name, and you can be part of it.
ACN is a firmly established international telecommunications company focused on offering two things. First, ACN offers consumers a better choice and greater value on the essential services they already use and are going to use every day.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, dude. This is incredible. Dude, he was just doing pyramid schemes. A guy that just did pyramid schemes. He would do every scheme under the sun is the president of the U.S. That's fucking awesome, bro. That is capitalism. Ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, that is capitalismus. It's wow. Because he really upped his game, you know. He rose to the hierarchy of hustling. What's a bigger and more potentially lucrative hustle than politics, eh?
Second, ACN offers individuals just like you one of the most remarkable income-generating opportunities available in the world today. A simple and proven way to bring more money into your household and more freedom into your life. In fact, ACN has already helped thousands of ordinary people achieve a level of personal and financial freedom that's extraordinary by anyone's measure. And literally, tens of thousands of people around the world create lucrative part-time and full-time businesses of their very own. Since its creation in 1993, ACN has quickly become one of the fastest-growing companies in the world. ACN's annual revenues have skyrocketed to more than $500 million, and revenues are projected to soon top more than $1 billion. ACN has been featured in a variety of highly respected business publications, including USA Today, Success Magazine, Fortune Magazine, and Success from Home Magazine. In addition, Inc. Magazine, a publication known for
Success from Home Magazine. Do you want to be a business owner and multimillionaire? Well, we are reaching out to you to help you reach all your dreams. This is not an MLM. Trust me, bro. UK government sounds appeal for a meeting on Palestine hunger strikers. UK government ministers are continuing to snub calls. Yeah, of course they're going to snub them. How is this news? Whenever we're done with Trump, not saying stop what you're doing, we should cover the Palestinian action hunger strikes in UK prisons. Yeah. But that's not going to do anything. Like, they're not going to do anything. Like, absolutely nothing. Especially because it's people in prisons. Like,
let's get right to CNN's Elena Treen live at the White House this morning for the very latest on what they're saying there. Elena?
Thank you, Grandmother Willow, for the gifty. Thank you very much. 2 gifties, actually. Grandmother Willow coming in and giving us gifts during the holiday season. Isn't that wholesome? Isn't this incredible?
Yeah, look, I actually think you pointed out the style of this. That was one of the most striking things to me, John, about the president's speech last night. He very much stayed on script. He was reading the teleprompter. That is not a characteristic for this president.
Because he didn't
care.
care.
That's partly because I think he had 15, 16. This ended up being an 18.
Everybody's analyzing this in the wrong way. My guy just didn't give a fuck, dude. He literally, like, State of the Nation address or whatever you call this. Like, what? That's so old school, dude. Can I just, like, post it on Twitter? On Truth Social? Why do I have to talk to these, like, old people on their fucking TV screens? He's bored. He wanted to get it out of the way. He does not think that that it's a factor, you know? Reuters just reported that China has cracked EUV lithography tech. They'll be able to create their own high-end chips without TSMC very soon. They call it China's Manhattan Project. That was an inevitability The Chinese understand just how much of a potential security loophole it is that they are so heavily reliant on their region of Taiwan and the United States when it comes to chips in general. Which means that they probably put in an enormous amount of resources into developing a public-private industry that can rival those present in the states of their so-called rivals.
Minute speech. He only had that amount of time for the television stations to actually take this, but he was rapidly rushing through this, shouting at times, almost trying to convince Americans this is what you need to be feeling right now. But one of the things, of course, when you get to substance, he did use this. This was a speech meant to tick through his accomplishments. He talked about the congressional, as the so-called big beautiful bill that they passed over the summer, his tax cuts, tariffs that he said, all of this going to help attribute to the economy. And that was really the main focus of this speech. It was very clear what this speech was intended to do, which is to try and get it.
Peace in the Middle East, first time in 3,000 years, chat.
An issue that has been plaguing.
Ram prices can go down now. The Ram trucks, yeah. I mean, I guess the higher fuel prices are, the lower the prices of vehicles that use a lot of fuel.
This administration and causing a lot of anxieties as they head into 2026, of course, a midterm elections year. He talked about affordability at length, and he really tried to place the blame at the feet of his predecessor, Joe Biden. He blamed him repeatedly, even actually starting to do so in his first sentence. Listen.
11 months ago, I inherited a mess, and I'm fixing it. This is what the Biden administration allowed to happen to our country. Under the Biden administration, car prices rose 22%, and in many states, 30% or more. Under Biden, real wages plummeted by $3,000. Electricity costs surged 30 to 100% under Biden. The worst thing that the Biden administration did to our country is the invasion at the border.
And that was only a few examples of him using Biden's name, John. Look, I mean, the president also made selective use of some of these statistics. In some cases, they were quite misleading statistics. At one point, he tried to argue that inflation is down. It's actually, as of the last numbers we saw, as you mentioned, we're going to see some new numbers today, but it's at the same place we saw it on Inauguration Day when Joe Biden left office.
But he told them to feel like it isn't. So it isn't. The fuck are you talking about? I say this too often, but also not often enough. I will never forgive the left for allowing the right to co-opt facts. Don't care about your feelings from our movement. Literally, a movement that almost exclusively cares about feelings, reactionaries. Their whole political philosophy is just like, I feel like this guy doesn't like me, so I feel like we should kill them or deport them, or make them into paste, or make them into glue, or essay them, or create an apartheid system that does not allow them to be equal members of society. I can go on for like 700 hours. But yes, we allow the movement that's completely based on emotion and no facts to call themselves the facts over feelings crowd. That is beyond pathetic. Like, we suck. Like, we should not have let that happen.
He also tried to argue that employment is headed in the right direction. Well, when he entered office, the president, the unemployment rate was at 4%. The most recent numbers we saw put an unemployment rate at 4.6%. But look, I'll say this, and you could hear it in that clip. He keeps blaming Biden. I have now traveled the country talking to his supporters, the president's supporters, about this. I was in Pennsylvania last week when he delivered that speech that was supposed to be focused on affordability, but kind of...
I'll be right back. I'll make myself a coffee, chat.
...weaved all over the place. They tell me that they agree with him, that, yeah, maybe he did inherit a bad economy, but they are losing patience. And at this point in time, they also say, we're starting to see this being an economy that Trump owns. It's no longer going to be a Biden economy. And so it's very clear that they need to get these numbers in a better place as they head into the next year.
Yeah, and needless to say, Daniel Dale been working overtime overnight. We'll speak to him a little bit about the facts of this speech. Elena Trina at the White House this morning. Thank you very much. Kate?
Joining us right now for more on this is Madison Mills, senior markets reporter for Axios. Thanks for being here, Madison. Give me your perspective. What did we learn from the president in the speech?
Well, the president touted this kind of victory lap on the economy, which is very out of line with the data and what my sources on Wall Street and economic experts who I speak with every single day tell me is actually happening. We have this huge disconnect between the message the president is talking about, which is, he talked about prices going down, grocery costs plummeting, electricity costs going down. Just fact-checking electricity, that's up 13% over the last year, and he said those costs are already coming down. And I could really fact check every single comment that was made about the economy. So that just points to the disconnect here. I do know that the White House understands it has an affordability crisis on its hands. There's just a disconnect right now between how the president is addressing that affordability crisis and how people are actually feeling at home.
And so what is that going to look like going into the new year, right? Like here's how we're ending up this year as we put. There's a lot not said and not announced in this. What then is this going to look like, or is the White House hoping and expecting is gonna happen with the economy come Jan 1?
Well, Trump talked about this affordability that's coming, that
right.
All these costs are going to be coming down. He touted something in there about housing and how there's going to be some huge push for affordable housing. I would be very curious to hear any specifics on that. Also talking about these dividend checks, utilizing some of the tariff revenue to pay out veterans. And then also he's obviously...
As well, warriors, some sort of intervention will happen. The scale of the war, we do not know what that is going to entail, but the intervention is going to happen.
Talked about these $2,000 tariff stimulus checks.
But did not announce that either.
Didn't announce it, and also you would need a lot of congressional approval.
And the fact that they're doing almost no, I talked about this with Brace from Joan yesterday. The fact that they do not think they need to manufacture any sort of consent for this war means that nobody really cares, and means that they don't feel like they're... The fact they're not manufacturing any consent over this war means that they did their research and they recognized that nobody would do anything, pretty much. Nobody with actual sway and influence would do anything or can do anything to stop a potential intervention, coup plot, or even full-scale invasion of Venezuela. So that's basically a really big red flag that they're going to go through with it. Brace. Brandon, my favorite Jew. Brace is my favorite Jew. He's a good Jew. I like Brace. I like Coindexter even more. We are getting that check for my my commander confirmed it. He said we should see it in 48, 72 hours. Looks like I'm getting lobster and steak. We are for sure going to war with someone. Absolutely. It's like cartoonish. But also, I want all soldiers in chat that are getting that check to dish out at least 5 gift subs, okay? 5 gift... Dude, you are in the Imperial Army, and you're getting a bonus. This guy on Twitch that speaks in the name of Kommunismus deserves a slice of that Western pie, okay? We should add Western taxpayers 20, Western minorities 10, Western soldiers 30 gift subs weekly. Why are the Americans okay with that? They aren't okay with that, but how do I put this? They're not okay with it, but they're comfortable enough not to do anything to stop it. Okay? That is what you do with the majority, even of the working class in empire. You don't pacify them by hitting them over the head and telling them they're not allowed to have an opinion. You simply make them relatively comfortable enough to not turn that opinion into political action. So most Americans will feel really bad and shitty, and they're going to be like, oh no, about an intervention in Venezuela, but they don't have the political will to actually do something about it. But as the contradictions of the United States start piling on, the American people will have less to lose when it comes to revolting and more to gain, which will motivate more and more of them to take a more proactive political role in their life, which will then create actual based Americans. Bro, if I get the check, 100% dropping 100 gifties. Coolboy Cube, you said it, my friend. You said it. Burn them notes. Absolutely. Be like Coolboy Cube, dude. I want Venezuela to become a Vietnam 3 if war is inevitable with those in power, yeah. The majority are against it, but they either don't care enough But they either don't care enough to do anything, don't know what to do, or just don't know what the hell is going on. Yes, pretty much. We are hitting our 1 hour and 30 minutes. Reminder to everybody that we can potentially gamble today. We are 113 subs away. I think that's completely doable. And then we gamba, and you get to point and laugh at a streamer on the internet, the worst person to ever exist. Not just me, all streamers. All streamers are subhuman dogs. So you get to bully me. And make me lose my money, because as we all know, all streamers are multi-billionaires. But if that does not motivate you, if you're not an evil bully, then subscribe to the show, because it's a chill thing to do. Gift a sub to another chatter, because it's a chill thing to do. My goal for this month of 3,000, I'm not giving you any fancy pitch, would be just to feel really good about what we managed to build here, because if after 2 years a masked communist doing almost exclusively political commentary on Twitch happens to hit 3K, I will be breaking every mid-sized record out there, okay? Which means that we will be breaking every mid-sized record out there. Thank you, Jokula. You see, Jokula always comes in and pays his taxes. Thank you very much. And I hope you are inspired by him. Thank you, real human beings.
A new child soldier.
A 6-monthly baby. You played games yesterday. I couldn't watch that. It was Stalker, блядь. It was very good. Did you get the new camera? Yes, I did. I showed it off in the beginning of the stream. It's in the box there. I am just waiting for the, for the lens. I fucked up with the lens. I have to buy 2 lenses. I bought the wrong lens, and they're not accepting it as a return. Have I ever mentioned that I'm a lobotomite? Also, there's no face of the opposition. There's no nucleation point for people to rally behind. There's no MLK, no Obama, no Spartacus, just liberals who are completely aimless. To an extent, yes, you know. It's not about great man theory, but I see what you're trying to say. Absolutely. And that's especially with the states, that's the whole point. Like you can build even very, very progressive politics when it comes to domestic politics, but you don't fuck with the foreign politics. You do not fuck with the foreign politics, foreign policy, and so on. Give it to JT next time you see him. You guys said that earlier as well. I got it for the wrong camera. It's for a Fujifilm camera, and JT immediately said I would never use such garbage. He called it plebeian and for poor people, and he said the only thing poor people deserve is to be pissed on, not to have cameras. And then he said a slur, and he kicked a small child in the shin. This is what JT's actually like off camera. The Russian author that wrote the novels behind Stalker and Metro series is excellent, highly recommended. There's a guy that wrote, there's novels about Stalker. I know the Metro ones, and they're great. I even read one. But I didn't know there was a Stalker one. Typical first world leftist. Yeah, dude.
for that, which again, my sources tell me is not going to happen. They can't even agree on a budget, much less tariff dividend checks. So unclear whether or not to kind of price that in from a market's perspective if we don't have that clarity at this time.
So there is a lot of question marks going into what does this look like as we head into the new year in terms of the White House approach. But let's talk about just today. We had the new jobs, delayed jobs data that came out this week, 64,000 jobs added, but as Elena Trine was talking about, unemployment rose to a 4-year high. Yeah. And now we're getting another delayed because of the government shutdown bit of data, important data on consumer pricing coming today. What are you hearing about this?
Yeah, this will give us the inflation data, but at this point it's so backward looking. When we take a look at the options pricing in the market, it looks like investors are not pricing in major moves coming off of this report, so it's not necessarily going to move markets very much. It is obviously very important to get the data as soon as...
Well, Roadside Picnic is a stalker book. No, no, not the stalker movies. You fucking beautiful freaks. Not the stalker movies. Like a fictional world where there are stalkers that go into the zone to collect anomalies and figure out why the zone is the zone. Okay? It's very different than the film, even though it's, got slight inspirations. I'm pretty sure Stalker was slightly inspired by Metro, but now that's a big taboo to say because it's a Ukrainian game, and if it was inspired by a Russian author, everybody's going to lose their fucking mind. But at the core of the deprogramming in America and its thirst for bloody imperial pursuit are things like class consciousness, of course. If they can wake people up to this and how imperialism thrives off of class inequalities, wouldn't that help with making people care more about having better foreign policy? The left needs to hustle and nail a solid people-first message and movement. Of course, this is, my friend, I think you are new here. This is like... coming to a group of junkies and telling them that cocaine is a really nice drug. Oh, no worries. No, thank you. You phrased it very eloquently, and that was lovely. But yes, we agree, my friend. So cute, so nice. Welcome to the community, dude. It doesn't help, but a lot of Yanks are so exhausted by work and debt that I don't think they see past it. Of course. I know I was for a long time, still there, honestly, just seeing all the BS out there now as well. Of course.
New child soldier. Subscriber.
Did someone say cocaine? Thank you, Zanzibar, brate moy. Thank you very much. That's the whole point. You're supposed to be exhausted or, if you are very impoverished, the chances of you caring and doing something proactively are higher because you have nothing to lose. But because you're impoverished, that usually means you have to be on the grind session 24/7. So you don't have time to do anything. And if you do have time to do something, you're most likely from a more privileged position in society, which demotivates you from political activity because you have more to lose. Okay, these are the two contradictions of trying to actually build a revolution in stable society. This is not how a revolution works. Revolutions, most people get this wrong. A revolution is co-opting general public upheaval, chaos, for a progressive cause. In our case, a socialist cause. Okay? Chaos, the contradictions pile up. The pressure increases. The valve explodes. And usually when it explodes, in the context of the 20th, 19th, and 21st centuries, the two only options are reactionary sentiment, which is basically a recycled version of the previous pipe, but one that utilizes very violent methods to make sure that it doesn't explode again, versus an alternative pipe, which is a class-conscious society that can be interpreted in many different ways. And all the, quote-unquote Marxian tribes and even anarchist tribes are very welcome to this community to interpret it whatever they want, whatever way they want. But revolution is the co-opting of, let's call it chaos, to make it simple. That is why it is important for you to join organizations, fund organizations, lead organizations, motivate others to do so by developing their class consciousness, but organizational class consciousness. Because without that, once the chaos happens, and the chaos will happen, if we don't have organizations that can co-opt it, somebody else will. Okay? Thank you very much, Drew Stu. Thank you very, very, very much for the 3-month streak. Because unless such a moment comes, you're most likely in the two categories. And we're all subjects of our material conditions, blah, 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 nerd shit. And it's understandable that you're most likely not going to, do anything if you're very privileged, or that you won't have the time to do anything because you're not that privileged. I had a dream about you. Oh, was it nice? Sounds so easy when you say it like that. My job is to make people join said organizations. After that, the real work is on you guys. The real actual work is on you guys. Ain't nobody ever denied that. I just put posters on walls, my friends. By the way, I should get back to you on the thing you sent me. I reached out to some people. They're fucking not replying some weird shit. Because everybody's like, when they see the country, they're a bit fucking weird about it. But you should hit me up next week. I might have some directions. Your job, who's paying you? The CCPP? The CCPP is paying me. Come to CCPP, support this show, subscribe, gift subs, pay your taxes, make number go up, paint the chat purple, baby. Every subscription brings us closer to Gamba, brings us closer to a beautiful number that is 3,000, brings us closer to a smile on my face. Let's motherfucking go.
As you possibly can to get insights into where we're at with inflation. I mean, the president was talking about inflation coming down, but we haven't gotten the data, so it's difficult to know where we're at.
Daniel Dale was up late working through much of it. He's now joins us. He is here now to walk through it. Let's start with the president's take on inflation and the economy. What did you see?
Oh, Red Basses, thank you for that info. Over 80 stalker books. That's crazy. Okay, I'm going to check some out. But when there's over 80 books on a particular piece of lore, sure how good they are. Like, the Warhammer universe is incredible, but, those are the good books, right? But they're lore books. They do their part. That's good. It was confusing. I kept hearing you shouting, "Crazy hamburger," in a snowy, burned-out forest. My friend, you simply looked into the future, okay? For those of you who are new here, it might sound a bit insane, but my goal, if I ever reach 5,000 subscriptions, okay, is to replicate this. Is to literally go into a forest and live stream, replicate this. This is my 5,000 subs goal. Okay?
Spicy. Horrible, horrible spicy. This is Joker hamburger!
This is the greatest video ever made.
Cook on 1,000 degrees. Cooling down horse meat. This is Joker's big hamburgers. I'm going to eat his hamburgers. This is horrible.
Horrible.
Crazy hamburger. Crazy hamburger!
Jesus, that freaked me out. I thought somebody donated 20 gift subs. Oh my God, that's funny. That's so funny. I thought somebody, because that's our sound for 20 gift subs.
This is horrible! Crazy hamburger! Crazy hamburger! Crazy hamburger!
And he just cries. It's incredible. Like, it's so organic. It would have been cooler if he ate it, but God bless. It's a Pavlovian response, right? I immediately went through. Immediately got like a dopamine rush and was like, oh, 20 gift subs. Let's fucking go.
Daniel.
I saw a whole bunch of false claims. I believe we have a soundbite of 4 of the claims he made on the subject. So listen to this.
When I took office, inflation was the worst in 48 years, and some would say in the history of our country. The price of eggs is down 82% since March, and everything else is falling rapidly.
The reason he keeps mentioning the previous economy is to excuse why he wasn't able to do what he promised, and to tell all of you basically to be patient, because, you know, he had to uplift us from the worst economy of all time, etc., etc.
Directly.
Jesus, I just drank a second coffee at 8 p.m. Oh my God, I'm never sleeping, dude. Sleeping, what is that? What is that? I am a streamer, baby. Health, what is this? I do stream.
Foreign nations, which were taking advantage of our country for many decades to slash prices on drugs and pharmaceuticals by as much as 400, 500, and even 600%. Our border is secure. Inflation has stopped. Wages are up. Prices are down.
A whole bunch of claims there. None of that is true. So inflation is not stopped. The latest inflation rate we have for September was 3.0%. That was the 5th consecutive month that the year-over-year inflation rate had increased. Now, it is possible that later this morning we will get a lower rate for November, but that won't mean that prices have ceased rising, simply that they're rising less rapidly. It's also not true that President Trump inherited the worst inflation of all time. He inherited a 3.0% inflation rate in January. That is, again, the exact same rate we have for September 2025. Now, it is true that under President Biden in June 2022, the inflation rate did hit a 40-year high, not an all-time high, not a 48-year high, but that was more than 2 years before President Trump returned to office, and it then plummeted.
We are paying negative prices now.
President Trump also claimed that price of eggs are falling. That is true. But then he said everything else is falling rapidly. That is not even close to true, even if he's talking specifically about grocery prices. Far more grocery items have increased in price this term that have decreased. We have increases like about 15% in the price of coffee since January, about 14% in the price of ground beef, about 8% in the price of bananas. I could go on and on, literally dozens of items, not true. And then he spoke of reducing prescription drug prices by 400 to 600%. Those numbers aren't even mathematically possible. If you have a decrease of more than 100%, that means that Americans would be getting paid to acquire their medications. Obviously, that is not happening.
Let's change topics, though, because the president also hit on once again the wars that he says he has ended. We have heard this in almost every speech that he has given, really, since he's taken office. Yeah. Last night, he's saying that he ended 8 wars. What's he referring to?
Remember all those countries that were surprised by the fact that they were in an active conflict zone? Do you remember the Albanian prime minister? Wait, what was it? Albanian PM thanks Trump or so, thanks Trump. Yeah.
You should make an apology to us because you didn't congratulate us on the peace deal that President Trump made between Albania and Azerbaijan.
I'm sorry for that.
Yeah. So, and he worked very hard.
8 months.
He worked very hard. We had 500.
That's pretty fucking funny. It's pretty funny. If that guy wasn't an insane, corrupt mobster, he would be kind of cool.
He is referring to a bunch of, well, it's not 8 wars. So let me tell you what his list includes. It includes a conflict between Egypt and Ethiopia. The thing is, that was not a war under President Trump. It is a long-running, ongoing diplomatic dispute over an Ethiopian dam project on a tributary of the Nile River. So there was no war for President Trump to end. It also includes conflict.
On slander our prime minister like that. A lik ima ris, brate. Brate, meni se sviđa, majke mi. Lik je vrhčina, jebote. Šetaš u govnu, ali lik je frajer. Lik je liče. Ej, liče.
That are ongoing between Thailand and Cambodia in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, and it includes another non-war between Serbia and Kosovo. President Trump has claimed that he prevented the eruption of a new war, providing almost no details about what he's talking about, but there was no war in that.
I hid it from you, chap, but I was ready to be deployed in Kosovo. I'm a paratrooper secretly. I was gonna 4K live stream the whole thing. But then the President Trump just stopped us from deploying. We were all very sad. We had like whole new turbo folk music that we invented for the new war. It was gonna be so edgy, dude. But President Trump stopped us.
Oil prices have spiked after U.S. President Donald Trump announced a full and complete blockade on all sanctioned oil tankers entering and leaving Venezuela. President Nicolas Maduro has condemned the blockade, calling it a grotesque threat, and has accused Washington of trying to take over his country's resources.
Speaking of Macron, I don't understand the recent obsession from U.S. citizens with this conspiracy. Candace has been pushing this conspiracy, and Candace Owens 100% believes it. But the fucked up thing is that they are focusing on this transphobic, insane rant shit, but they're missing the forest for the trees. There is a perfectly legitimate conspiracy right there when it comes to Macron and his wife. And that is that Macron's wife is the world's most powerful, not the world's most powerful, but that Macron's wife is a pedophile. Macron's wife is a pedophile that has raped and then abused and then co-opted a child into basically a child bride, a male child bride, and then made him president and is now the first lady of France. That is 100% correct. And they just completely don't care about the pedophilia shit. They're just like, oh my God, she's trans. That's crazy. And because of that, apparently French soldiers together with the Mossad helped assassinate Charlie Kirk because, I don't know, they couldn't get to her because her security is too good. And Charlie was open-minded about these theories. So the French, together with the Jewish lobby, ended up killing him. It's pretty incredible. Listen to the next Deprogram episode. Trust me. If you want to know all about this, the Deprogram episode that drops on Patreon tomorrow, you need to listen to it. It's a fucking banger. It's 10 out of 10. It's a really good episode. What are the great truths we learned today? That Macron's wife is a pedophile, which everybody should have known.
Venezuela's struggling economy depends on its oil exports. The country is home to the world's largest proven oil reserves. The U.S. is the second largest buyer of Venezuelan crude oil after China.
Getting land, oil rights, whatever we had, they took it away because we had a president that maybe wasn't watching. But they're not going to do that. We want it back. They took our oil rights. We had a lot of oil there. As you know, they threw our companies out, and we want it back.
Well, President Nicolas Maduro says he won't.
They hate him because he does not lie.
Let the U.S. take what belongs to Venezuela.
Today, I spoke with the UN Secretary General. We spoke at length, and I laid out to him what the scale of aggression and threats have been, and what happened yesterday and today when the government of the United States says that it belongs to them and that the Venezuelans are stealing their oil. So Venezuela's oil belongs to them.
No, all the oil belongs to me, and it is provided to me by oilers.
Venezuelan minerals and gold belong to them.
No peace, peace, no war, but peace.
We never heard before that the Venezuelan land belongs to them and that we must give them back immediately, Honestly, it's a warlike and colonial intention.
It is 100% warlike and colonial. What the fuck? Duh. Nobody can deny that. But that's the magic of quote unquote MAGA America, because they don't deny it. They're like, we want the oil.
Meanwhile, the United Nations is calling for restraint and urging the US and Venezuela to seek a diplomatic solution to the dispute.
What the Secretary General is focused on is avoiding any further escalation. The Secretary General calls for restraint and for the immediate de-escalation of the situation. He calls on all stakeholders to honor their obligations under international law, including the UN Charter and any other applicable legal framework to safeguard peace in the region. And, of course, as always, he believes that any difference must be resolved by peaceful means.
Let's bring in Francisco Rodriguez. He's the former head of the Economic and Financial Advisory of the Venezuelan National Assembly. He joins us live from Denver, Colorado. Francisco, good to have you with us. So, Trump announced a few days ago this total blockade on all sanctioned Venezuelan oil tankers coming in.
The oil was promised to the people of the U.S. 3,000 years ago. The oil was promised to every Twitch streamer 5,000 years ago. Who was first, eh?
And out of Venezuelan waters. What does this actually mean, Francisco? And how's this blockade going to work then?
Yeah, well, it's actually not totally clear what it means because the president mentioned sanctioned oil tankers. Now, in principle, there are sanctions on Venezuelan oil. So you could understand that as saying any tanker carrying sanctioned oil, that is oil from Venezuela. Or you could think that it applies just to those tankers carrying Venezuelan oil that have been explicitly sanctioned, which still are about 40% of the fleet that carries Venezuelan oil. Now, the thing is that Venezuela doesn't do this by choice because the country's sanctioned. It's hard for it to get tankers to transport its oil. So basically, it's trapped in this situation where it's using these tankers that the U.S. does not accept. But
Gramsci, thank you for giving me American oil.
The bottom line is that the U.S. has imposed very tight sanctions on Venezuela, and now it's enforcing them through military means. Now it's effectively saying, I'm going to stop the tankers carrying that oil.
Yeah, and we know that oil is Venezuela's main source of income. The oil industry, we're told, contributes to 90% of its export revenues. How will this blockade then affect Venezuela's struggling economy and its finances going forward?
Well, it can be disastrous. It can be catastrophic. If Venezuela suffers a decline of 50% or more in its oil revenues, then...
And objectively, this is camaraderie critique, okay, both of Chavez and Maduro. It was a choice to not diversify from the get-go when it comes to what the entirety of your economy relies on. Okay? There were methods that many countries around the world have used where they transferred, okay, the immense capital gained from oil exports into other industries that can potentially stabilize said economy if oil exports are no longer an option. But with somewhat good intentions, the imperative, especially of Chavez's government, was to use as much of that money coming in from the now nationalized oil and oil reserves to better the average living standards of all Venezuelans. But it is unfortunately a short-term perspective. Now, that situation shifts and changes post, that massive sanction package that was sent their way. Because after that, you can't really do anything. You can't diversify because you're already selling your oil at a far lower level of profitability than you would have without being sanctioned by the world's largest economy. So, camaraderie critique. It was somewhat naive to think that, the party is going to go on forever. And they should have copied Norway's homework. To an extent, yes. Like, to an extent, unironically to an extent. It's not me saying Norway-based or cringe, but to an extent, yes. If you're going to operate in an international market economy and you want to utilize as much of the capital gained by oil in order to pretty much either build a massive fund and then reinvest in other industries, or just build up other industries. The way the way certain Gulf states did it. That's what you needed to do. Having rich natural resources fuck up your whole economy is a known phenomenon in economics. Dutch disease. Yes, of course, my friend. It's a classic. Borderline cliche, but that can be avoided.
We're talking about the country's economy contracting by double digits, possibly by 20, 30%. So that would be the equivalent of a Great Depression in Venezuela. And this is a country that's already reeling from an economic collapse. Its GDP declined by 71% between 2012 and 2020. More than a quarter of the population has left the country. So if you go to this stage of maximum pressure, you're going to have another massive exodus, and quite possibly a famine in Venezuela, or at least very serious food shortages.
And we heard from Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro saying he won't let the U.S. take what belongs to Venezuela. What do you make, briefly, of Maduro's response and handling of this crisis so far as it continues to escalate even further?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Trump yesterday actually talked about the oil, which is something he had always referred to: drugs, migration, but not the oil. He appears to be referring to some renegotiation of oil contracts that Hugo Chavez did in 2007. And this is something that happens in many countries in the world. In fact, there have been many.
This is what always happens when you nationalize anything, and you from bananas to oil, and directly put your hand in the pocket of large capital. Large capital immediately uses its most efficient lapdog, also known as the capitalist state, and sicks it at you and basically fucking kills all of you. That's a story as old as America, as some people like to say.
Nationalizations, and Venezuela's oil industry was nationalized in 1976, much before Chavez came to power. But these renegotiations are the type of standard things that countries change their laws and they change the conditions for.
Why do other Latin American leftists hate Maduro? Usually, the criticism is on efficiency. It's on governance. It's on how good he is at his job. That's what I've noticed. That's usually the direction. They're not like, oh, we fucking hate you because, you keep everything nationalized still and blah, blah, blah. Just like, it should be run better. That's usually the criticism.
For an investment.
In certain cases, it's fucking correct. Like, let's not fucking lie to ourselves. But of course, hardcore critical support. Even if you're the biggest Maduro hater, if you're like some lived out fucking idiot, an intervention, a coup, or a war will do fucking nothing for the Venezuelan people. The same way the intervention in Iraq did nothing for Iraqis under Saddam Hussein. Same way the intervention in Afghanistan did nothing for those who were, quote unquote, fearing the Taliban, and so on and so on and so on. This is exceptionally black and white. And to an extent, it really should be a across the aisle perspective of every leftist. I mean, right-wingers, honest right-wingers that happen to be American and that want to, solidify American influence over the world. If you're a proper right-winger, yeah, you should agitate for the war because more oil, more power, more gun, more control.
So it's something that's, in fact, pretty normal. I mean, threatening to invade a country because they'd renegotiated its contract with oil companies, or even because they decided to nationalize its oil industry, is something that we definitely have not seen in the last century.
Francisco Rodriguez, really good to get your thoughts and your analysis, Francisco. Many thanks for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Francisco. Francisco Rodriguez, Gde si, Francisco? Gde?